Lots of injuries around the NBA recently. The biggest name to go down was Steph Curry. Thursday night against the Spurs, the Warriors edged San Antonio by 3, but lost Steph early. He twisted his right ankle in the first quarter, did not return to the game, and will be held out of Golden State's next 2 games at least. The two-time MVP missed 3 weeks in December with a left ankle sprain. The Warriors also will be without Jordan Bell for several games due to a sprained right ankle. The 23-year-old rookie had only recently returned from a sprained left ankle that kept him out for 14 games. Bell is averaging nearly 5 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists in 14 minutes per game. And a scary moment for the Celtics on Thursday night. Swingman Jaylen Brown took a nasty fall directly on the head and neck against the Timberwolves. Brown was able to walk off the court on his own power, later tweeted out that he was okay and thanked his fans. More First Take right now.
Hope Jaylen Brown's okay. The Rockets will go for their 18th straight win tonight as they take on the Raptors in Toronto. DeMar DeRozan and the crew got the best of the Rockets last time they played, but H-Town was without Chris Paul. Max, it's the best in the West versus the best in the East. How much does this game mean?
It only means something to one team, and I'm going to get to that in a second. It means nothing to the Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets, as Jalen Rose pointed out on Countdown the other night, have a scheduling loss coming up to the Toronto Raptors. The Raptors are the first team to clinch a playoff berth. They're a top 5 offense. They're a top 5 defense. They're an excellent team. They're playing at home. The Rockets are on the road playing their 3rd out of 4 games, 3 games out of 4 nights. This is when teams lose. It's, as Jalen Rose said, a scheduling loss. So I anticipate the Rockets will lose. I don't think the Raptors can take much out of that, nor do I think the Rockets can be, upset about it. This is what happens. It always happens in the NBA like this, according to the, by the schedule. Now, if the Rockets beat the Raptors, that's not even so demoralizing to the Raptors because the Rockets may be the best team in the NBA. And as good as the Raptors are, we all know that they aren't. We know the Raptors aren't about to get chipped up this year. So it doesn't mean much to them either. This game is important, however, to the Golden State Warriors because I am here to tell you, the Rockets lose, no big deal. If the Rockets somehow beat the Raptors on the road, playing their 3rd game in 4 nights to keep that streak alive, oh, they're putting the league on notice. And the team that's got to worry is the Golden State Warriors. At a certain point, the idea that you're going to beat the Rockets 4 out of 7 gets far-fetched. I'm very interested to see if the Rockets can pull that off.
This game is meaningful. It means something to both teams. It means something to the Rockets because despite the fact that they've won 17 straight and they're on this roll where they've become the talk of the entire NBA, ladies and gentlemen, the Rockets are 51-13. The Golden State Warriors are 51-14. I mean, it's just a half game back. Despite Houston winning 17 straight, the Golden State Warriors are still just a half game behind. That's it. That's all. And so 1 loss, ultimately Golden State is ahead of them for the #1 seed. That's #1. So it's meaningful for them because they need home court advantage to have a chance to beat the Golden State Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. They need home court advantage. They got to get that #1 seed. They don't get the #1 seed, it ain't happening. They ain't winning the West. It's just that simple. Now we get to the East. It means something for the Raptors. And here's why. Because if Houston is what we say they are and what we firmly believe they are, okay, then if you're the Raptors, you beat a team like Houston, it elevates your level of confidence with anybody else in the Eastern Conference, and that includes the Cleveland Cavaliers with LeBron James. That's the difference. When a team is that formidable, with those long-range snipers and that breakdown ability that James Harden and Chris Paul bring to the table, and somehow, some way, Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan handle their business in such a fashion that they end up winning this game, it doesn't mean that it's definitive, oh my God, they've arrived and blah, blah, blah. All it says, though, however, is that you beat the elite teams in the NBA. So why look at LeBron James and be in awe, playing the role of spectator status, like they have in the past, where he's completely dominated and annihilated and demoralized them. You don't have to worry about that as much as you did in the past, because a game like this, against this quality of an opponent that is the Houston Rockets, validates who you're trying to become and that you're on the appropriate path towards achieving that.
You bring up the fact that they're only one game or a half game better. The Rockets are only a half game better than the Warriors after winning 17 in a row. And it speaks to how great the Warriors are. Even look at the Raptors' record. They're only 4 games worse than the Rockets. And think of the historic season the Rockets are having. Raptors are very good. But I'm not looking at the Rockets' record overall. I'm looking at the Rockets' record when healthy, Stephen A. And that now, maybe it suggests the fact that they've missed a lot of games to injury, that they're likely to miss games to injury in the playoffs too, key players, namely Chris Paul or James Harden or even Clint Capella. And therefore, we have to pump the brakes a little bit on what we think of their chances. But if healthy, Stephen A., they're about to suffer, I believe, their second loss when healthy. And again, that's a scheduling loss. 3 games in 4 nights. And they're on the road. It's never going to happen in the playoffs. You're never going to play 3 games in 4 nights, and you're never going to play the second of back-to-back. So forget about a scheduling loss in the playoffs. You can throw this loss out. The only other loss would be in 35 games at that point by 2 points on the road to a team with AD and Boogie. And by the way, that happened earlier this season. In other words, the Rockets, when healthy, are nearly unbeatable and getting better. They're getting better. A lot of the reason we think they won't win, it's not just how great the Warriors have been, it's that D'Antoni's never won a championship. Chris Paul has underachieved, it seems, in the playoffs, and James Harden has choked. D'Antoni came this close to beating the Spurs and would have rolled the Cavs with that Suns team, and this team is way better than that Suns team. They have 2 MVP caliber players. That Suns team had 1. And by the way, both these MVP caliber players are better than the one that Suns team had. Chris Paul has underachieved with good groups in the playoffs, but he's never been on a group like this. And we've seen him in the Olympics with championship caliber teammates. At times looked like the best player on the floor with all the other best players in the world. He seemed to be the leader of the team. And James Harden, given these circumstances, maybe he'll choke again. But what are the odds that even that, if Harden is something less than his best self, can undo the Rockets? It's not just their record overall, Stephen A. It's their record when healthy. They don't lose. Ever. They don't ever lose. At a certain point, the sample size gets so large, you got to give it up.
Does it come out? All of that talking. Does it matter if the Rockets have home court advantage?
It helps them, sure.
End of discussion.
No,
they only a half game ahead. I'm saying they only a half game ahead.
They can beat the Warriors without home court, Stephen A.
Hold on. See how quick that was? 5 minutes? They only have a half game lead. If they lose, they don't have the lead. If Golden State gets home court advantage with the #1 seed, remember, Max, we're just a few weeks removed from you saying Houston would get the #1 seed and they would need it to have a chance to win this series. Now you're saying something differently. No. You said that too. No, I said the Warriors are going to get the #1 seed. That's what I said.
I said you said Houston would get it. That's the only way they win.
You said Houston got it and they would need it to win. Those were your words.
Guys, the he said, she said's got to be over. Sorry. We can't wait for this game, though. I'm sure we'll be breaking it down on Monday. Going to be a good one. Coming up here
By the way, does the season end? Does the season end tomorrow, Stephen A., after the game?
No.
All right. No more questions, guys, please. Does Baker Mayfield need to change his personality in order to succeed at the next level? The guys give their takes on the polarizing quarterback's potential in the NFL.